Alright, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be teaching you sales for social media marketing, okay? I decided to make this a YouTube video, but really this was going to be made for our internal sales guys. We have 8 full-time people that are doing sales for us, and so they need this training, but I thought a lot of you would really benefit from me just making a YouTube video. I'm going to go over like why people buy things. I'm going to go over like why every sale is the same and like how to go through that process. I know most of you guys, when you're starting out, it's a little nerve-wracking on the phone and you just don't know what to do. And so I hope that in this video you really pay attention, and it's going to be massively important and valuable for you because it's going to teach you like the whole process, right? I'm going to really dive into sales in this video, so make sure that you take notes, okay? So I'm going to dive into number one, which is going to be like, why do people buy things, right? Why do people buy social media marketing services? And people have this screwed up, and this is why, okay? So if you've been on this channel, been following me for a long period of time, you would know that I talk a lot about this, but everybody has their current state in life, or in this case, since we're doing social media marketing, selling those services, they have their current state in their business, right? And then everybody has their desired state in their business, right? And so what is the key things here? And one of the key points is that whenever you're trying to sell them on your services, that service does not, like, people do not like, they don't buy your service, they don't pay you for leads or for a new website or things of that nature because they think it's cool. They buy it because it's going to help them get to where they desire to be. And so an important thing to know about sales and why people buy things is because they buy the future of what that's going to bring them. They don't buy things because of that. They just buy the future. They buy the desired outcome. They invest into their business because they know it's going to make them more money in the long run, which is going to allow them to have more money to provide for their friends, for their family, and for things of that nature, right? And so part of sales is, Devin, you can come in here. This is for you too. So most people don't even know when you're on the phone with them, when you're trying to sell, where they currently are. Some of the time they're going to know. They're going to come to you inbound with a clear problem, they need more leads, etc. But your job while you're on the phone, while you're in the meeting trying to sell them, is throughout the process, you need to make sure that you allow them to understand, and it's super clear that they know where they currently are by asking questions of, like, say that their business is basically around referrals. That's how they get most of their business. You would ask questions that are, for example, do you feel comfortable relying on that form of your business? Things of that nature. Make sure that they understand where they currently are, and then also you have to paint the picture of where they desire to be. So what would it look like if we brought in 50 to 60 new qualified leads into your business on demand? What would it look like if, someone comes to, your website and it's beautiful, it's amazing, so then they're able to trust you and you have that brand identity? How would that look like for your overall business? You know what I mean? Things of that nature, right? I just wanted to start here because this is so important. And, going back to what I said before, is just like, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. They buy the why, they buy the outcome, they buy futures. Like the whole global economy, the global economy ticks on everybody waking up each day and trying to buy a version of their desired self, right? That's just facts. Like, people are buying all the things, they buy the cars they can't afford, right? They're trying to buy that version of their desired self, and your job is between where they currently are and where they desire to be, to position yourself and your offer as the way to bridge the gap and then charge money for that, right? Like that is literally sales from an overview, but now I'm going to go into like kind of the in-depth version of like, all right, so you're in the meeting, what do you need to do? Like every sale is basically the same. What process do you need to go through to be able to increase your conversions? All right, so basically like it's honestly like a straight line, right? Jordan Belfort teaches this really, really well. This is just kind of our version of it, right? So the first step of the conversation, number one, is that you have to take immediate control of the conversation and of the meeting. You can't let the client or the prospect be in control, and that comes from immediately taking the conversation. So the first like 30 seconds, you're like, hey, listen here, John, this is what we're gonna do. We wanna spend this time to get to know you and your business and see if we might have some synergy or be able to find ways we can add value to each other. How does that sound? Is gonna say, great. So, hey, John, do you mind just like tell me a little bit about you. I'd like to know, a little bit about who you are, tell me about your business, and start there. Then they're gonna ask you, and etc. So first thing is sorry if this marker sucks, take control, right? And then the second thing that we have to do is gather information, right? And this is the most important thing here, right? It's basically the most important thing is you have to get information from the person you're trying to sell to be able to sell them. That is asking intelligent questions. That's asking them about their business, about how they're currently getting new business, what they do, asking them, what's the average, what's the average cost per lead that you're able to get into your business? What is your value ladder? What is an average customer worth to you, right? You should understand your niche and understand what you're trying to sell and ask those questions that are very important to where then you have an arsenal of things that you can use whenever you go into pitch, right? So a little action item is for wherever you're at, wherever your niche is, for the internal guys, my sales guys, like for LinkedIn and things like that, it's important to ask a lot of those questions, LinkedIn outreach, the Facebook ads and lead generation and, Instagram growth or websites, ask them those different qualifying questions. Now, once you know that you need to gather information, sorry, my camera keeps freaking dying, number 3 is building rapport, right? So what is building rapport? It's building trust with the person, but number 3 comes from both of these. Like rapport does not come without asking good questions, and they all go together, but rapport is building trust. People only are going to buy something or give money to people that they trust, right? Like you don't give someone money that you just don't trust. It's not how it works. It's just like a know, like, and trust, just like any kind of marketing funnel, right? Like selling online is the same way you sell in person. You build a relationship through multiple sequences from retargeting and adding value, right? And so for the internal guys, like you guys have seen me on sales calls a lot, like one thing that I'll do, especially like say in a discovery call, is like I never push my service or what I do on them right away. I always ask like, hey, what kind of leads or what kind of people from my network could I send you? Even if I don't have leads that I could really send, I could always find some. But what it does is subconsciously what that's going to do is make them trust me because they think, oh, he's actually looking out for me. He's offering to send me more business, right? So building rapport, building trust, laughing, asking how they are, trying to get to know who that person is super, super important. And then moving into number 4, which number 4 is your transition. Well, in the middle of that, it's your transition. And then you move here to your presentation. So this is like rapport and stuff, like you might have to set different meetings. You might have to start out by, a discovery call, getting to know, and then that's what normally we do. We do like a 15 to 30 minute call, and then we schedule another meeting because a lot of our stuff is from all online. And then after that, what we do is then we get on and do our presentation after we built the trust there. So once you get out of the rapport phase, you want to transition to, okay, well, Mr. Business Owner, I can help you. This is what I can do, and this is how much it costs. And one important thing to note about whenever you tell a price for something, be silent. this is one of the biggest things that I have ever learned in sales in my journey here, is that a lot of people, what they try to do is whenever they say the price, they'll immediately start talking and trying to justify it. But really, that's completely throwing off the person's train of thought. So because they're trying to see, like, can I make this happen here? Can I do that? They're trying to connect with all these different pieces. And whenever you try to justify it or undervalue yourself, you're going to lose the sale. So whenever you say a price to something, be quiet. The first person to talk always loses. And then if they say yes, then you move forward. You take the next steps to collect payment. And then what you do is, send all the other important docs. If they say no, you're going to move into something called a loop, which a looping is asking another question, deflecting the no, and bringing it all the way back here and going through the same phase again. Normally it takes on average like 3 no's across industry wide before you get that yes. So one no does not always mean no, right? So how do you loop? You say, they're like, no, I don't think I can do it. Oh, Mr. John, did you not really understand something from like what I was talking about? I thought this was what you... So, sorry, my camera cut out again, but it's just basically like telling the business owner, like, no, sorry, like, did I not understand you right? Like, like, can you tell me a little bit more about this? Like, bringing them back to the gathering information. Because what is normally the issue whenever someone is saying no is that you have not painted the picture well enough. You haven't painted the picture of where they are currently at to where they desire to be, and then painted the picture of you being the way to bridge the gap. You have not maybe built enough trust, built enough rapport with them, so you need to keep that phase going. And a lot of times if, maybe as long as your offer really can help them, that's the most important thing, then maybe you could sell them on something else. Maybe you have a different offer that would be more attractive to them, or, set another meeting, say, hey, I know I couldn't understand you very well. I mean, not understand. Anyways, like, try to set maybe another meeting. Like, Mr. John, like, actually, like, I really think I can help you. Can we do a little bit more research and maybe put together to something that might be more aligned? Something along those lines, right? That is kind of how a full sale already goes, right? That's honestly like the full straight line. That's how every sale is the same. It's you want to always take control. You want to ask the right questions to see if you can help them, and then also align yourself whenever it comes to the presentation, and then be able to handle objections. And then whenever they say no or something, try looping them, right? Try looping them back and asking more questions to them, right? So now I'm just going to kind of also explain a little bit about like why some sales are going to be harder than other sales, and it really depends on the person, right? So everyone has like a level of certainty. Some people need to be very certain, which means that they really, really need to know that this money is going in the right place and they're making the right decision. And those people are a lot harder to sell, and you have to paint the picture, you have to build more rapport, you have to dumb it down. And then people who are like, not super certain, where, they make impulse buys and stuff. Like impulse buys, they're just ready to go right away, right? A perfect example is like for me, if something makes sense to me, and I think it can really help, then I would be like a 1 on that scale, right? And I like to use like my grandpa, for instance. Like my grandpa is old fashioned, he, worked General Motors, built up, worked at, that corporate job, and now he's retired, and he's the type of guy who he really needs to be certain on something. He does not spend a lot of money in places where it does not make sense, and things like that, right? But me, on the other hand, if it makes sense, I'm willing to pull the trigger right away, right? I'm an easier sell. My grandpa, he's a much harder sell. And so that's also like through that whole straight line process I was talking about, things you have to gather, you have to figure it out from the person and start to understand who they are and where they're at, and are they a certain person or are they, an uncertain person? Because a certain person can take longer, right? It can take weeks. Like we've had clients and leads that we've been nurturing weeks down the road, had multiple calls, and then, in that 3rd week, the last call, they're finally like, all right, let's do it. I understand everything. Let's move forward. And then we've also had calls where I get on one call and never know the person and I've closed them. I just did that the other day. I did a 5K with one call. It was kind of nuts. That doesn't happen very often, but it can definitely happen, right? And so that's just really the scale, and your job is to help this person wherever they're at become very certain. You have to paint the picture, and it's about like, if it's an older person that doesn't really understand the digital age, you have to dumb it down for them. That's not the type of person who, you can talk about all these pixels and all this different stuff. It could really confuse them. So you have to use language like, hey John, just like normal sales, you're very good at sales. You've been in the sales industry for a long time. And that part of sales is building a relationship and trust before you can ask them for that sale. Well, it's the same way online through marketing funnels, right? The way we run ads is the same way we sell in person, by hitting them on multiple touches and adding value and building rapport. So it's just different conversations you have to figure out. So I hope this helped you guys in your journey. This is a quick one. If you guys ever want to work with us on a one-on-one basis, we have multiple coaches in an exclusive community, Land Clients Accelerator. There's a link down below for a free training, and then also you can book a call, and then we can jump on the phone, see if you're qualified to learn how to start your very own marketing agency, basically get our stuff in a box. Or if not, stay watching this channel. Make sure to subscribe, like it, comment other videos you'd like to see down below. Anyways, it's been Elliot Drake. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next ones. See ya.